Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff Kester, your 2020 president for Missouri Realtors, and it is my pleasure and my honor to welcome you to our 2020 Missouri Realtors April Business Conference and our very first virtual state business conference. And now for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job, gang. You know, when we're together in person, I wouldn't want to miss an opportunity to recognize our Realtor members who are veterans. Now, even though we're together virtually today and you can't stand up for us and we can't applaud you as you're standing, just know that for all of you that have served in our military, whose families have served, or who have active service members now, we appreciate you more than we could ever say. And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your service. Given these unique times that we're in right now, I'd also like to recognize those of you who have in your family or are in your circle, those people who are on the other front lines, police, fire, EMTs, nurses, doctors, and yes, truck drivers are all out there working every day, allowing the rest of us to stay home and stay safe. And for those people, we would like to add a very special, heartfelt thank you. I would also like to introduce the 2020 leadership team of Missouri Realtors. I call them the Dream Team for all they've gotten accomplished so far this year and the way that they've done it. Janet Judd, President-elect, Treasurer John Mayfield, Treasurer-elect Andrea Sheridan, immediate past President Brenda Oliver, and of course, the CEO of Missouri Realtors, John Seabree. As you know, each one of our business conferences has a theme. Little did we know that our theme for January, Engage, would stick around and be as important as it has been this year. We can't let that word go now. We have to continue to engage all of our members, everyone in our industry, and most importantly, our clients and customers. This is the time they need us most. However, this is a new business conference. We've always, at least intellectually, known how important realtor advocacy is, but I'm just going to say it. Never before has realtor advocacy been as important, as justified, and as omnipresent as it has been this year. You know, I'll never forget a certain Little League baseball game that I played back when I was in the 7th grade. And for whatever reason, that particular game, it seemed like we were hitting on all cylinders. Every pitch we hit, every hit we made turned into a base hit. Every man we had on base eventually made it around to home plate. And every ball that was hit to us got fielded just like it was supposed to. I'll never forget that game. It was one of my greatest childhood memories, but I got to tell you, that's how I feel like our realtor team has played during this COVID-19 situation on every level, national, state, and local. Realtors have been on center stage, just about every situation and angle possible. From city halls to county courthouses to the governor's office, realtors have been everywhere, making sure that real estate is deemed essential and making sure of our members' ability to get a hold of small business and unemployment loans. Our team has made a hit on every pitch, fielded every short hop, and burned up the base paths. How appropriate it is in the midst of all this that advocate, is the theme for our April Business Conference. As a special part of our kickoff to our business conference, we have welcome greetings from several members of our Missouri congressional delegation.
I'm Roy Blunt. I'm glad to be with you at what I think is your first virtual conference. We're doing a lot of things differently right now than any of us have done them before. And frankly, nobody alive today has seen anything like the impact of this virus on our economy. And we're really in two fights. One is the fight against the virus, and the other one's the fight for the economy. Most realtors are independent contractors. Realtors organize themselves in a lot of different ways. We tried to reach out and be sure that we caught groups in the relief effort that the Congress has already put forward, no matter what your status is. If you're an independent contractor, if you're self-employed, if you're part of a different organization than that, as long as that organization has fewer than 500 people or meets some kind of exemption, you're available for the paycheck protection part of this plan. I was on a call with the president and Secretary Mnuchin when Secretary Mnuchin got the message that the money was all gone. The $350 billion had been spoken for. You know, as I said, we were passing this bill. We don't have time to wait to know with any real certainty that we're getting this all exactly right. The next thing we need to do is to go back and correct the things that we didn't get quite right. And apparently one of those was just making this fund big enough, more popular than we anticipated it might be. There are other loans available to small businesses that you should take advantage of. Small business, I think, is also given substantial relief on interest and on payments for the next 6 months or so if you already have a small business loan. The deposits are beginning to go into either the bank accounts or into the mail for people who make less than $75,000. For two adults, that could be less than $150,000 or so. And those checks will help as well as people have child care costs they might not otherwise have, as people have health care costs they might not otherwise have, or just simply as people don't have the income that they would have been likely to have otherwise. This is a real challenge. We're going to beat this challenge. We are who we are. We have the great fortune to at least started this with the strongest economy, not only anywhere in the world, but the strongest economy that any of us have seen in at least 50 years. So the economy was fundamentally sound. It won't bounce back quite as quick as we would like it to, but I think we're doing everything we can to get the economy restarted again. I think the best way to do that is to do that more regionally and locally and let governors have a lot to say about that, and to lean on other elected officials in their state who have a different set of responsibilities, mayors of big cities and others, to decide how quickly they work with the governor to get the whole state back into a situation it needs to be. We're working hard to get more tests out there, including tests to see if you've had the virus and didn't quite know it, and if you had it, if you're likely immune between now and the time that we'd have a vaccine available sometime around a year from now. So we're trying our best to stay on top of this, and remember that families, businesses, home buyers, home sellers, people that represent both of those are more challenged than they've been in a long time. Thanks for what you do. Thanks for the help and advice and reassurance you give to so many people. And we're hoping we've reached out and tried to capture as many people in the real estate business as we could to be eligible for programs that others would be eligible for that they might not have been eligible for in the past. So thanks for your work. Thanks for letting me be part of this virtual conference, and thanks for letting me work for you both in Missouri and in Washington.
Hello, Missouri Realtors, and congratulations on holding your first virtual business conference. I'm glad I could participate this way. I'd rather be there in person, but I wanted to thank you for what you're doing as an industry during this time of this coronavirus pandemic. You are an essential business, and you're making a big difference for the families of our area as well as for the economy, and I want to thank you for that. I was pleased that a couple of weeks ago when we passed the CARES Act, that there are several provisions in there that I hope are helpful to you, including the Paycheck Protection Program and your ability to participate in the Pandemic Unemployment Insurance Program. There are also provisions in there for mortgage forbearance as well as eviction moratoriums, which I also hope will be helpful to our families and to our veterans. Know that as we discuss a potential fourth package, I will continue to keep your industry in mind and want to try to be helpful to you. So as we continue on and move forward every day, please continue to be in touch with me as well as my staff. Let us know how you're doing and how we can be helpful. We will get through this together, and you're going to be a big part of it. So I look forward to seeing you soon in person. In the meantime, take care, be healthy, and God bless.
I'm Representative Emmanuel Cleaver from Missouri's 5th District. I know that many of you, or at least I hope that you're pleased with the CARES Act provisions for small businesses in the form of low-interest loans and the Paycheck Protection Program. Now, although these funds have run out, we will continue to advocate for more funds for those who need it most, including small businesses in our upcoming relief legislation. I understand these difficult times, but believe me when I tell you this, we will get through this situation together. There's no storm that never stopped. And lastly, I want to congratulate the Missouri Realtors on your very first virtual business conference.
Hello, I'm Congressman Blaine Luetkemeyer, and I'm glad to join you today with the virtual meeting that we're having here with the Missouri Realtors Association. It's an honor to be with you, and thank you for the invitation. You know, at this point, it looks like the PPP program, the Payroll Protection Plan, is going very well. As of this date, we've got almost $250 billion out the door. Over 1 million loans have been made by the banks and credit unions and other lenders in this country to small businesses to help them keep their employees employed and give them paychecks to keep them off the unemployment rolls. My concern is that at some point down the road, we may need to take a look on the next round of money with regards to unemployment insurance funds of the states. To me, this is a shortfall that could occur. I think, here in Missouri, we've got more people in the last 3 weeks to file for unemployment insurance than did all of last year. That is going to deplete the funds in the fund, and as a result, they're going to have to be recharged. They're going to put more money in it, and I think, in order to do that, the federal government's going to have to kick in some money, or you're going to have to go back and probably charge your small businesses a higher tax rate for unemployment insurance, which at a time whenever they're struggling to get back in business, you're going to hit them with a big tax. So I think this may be what we need to be looking at next if we look at anything.
Hi, this is Congressman Billy Long, and I just wanted to say a special hey boy howdy to all of the Missouri Realtors that are in your first virtual business conference. I was a realtor myself from 1978 up through 2011, and I really miss it. I love the real estate business, and I'm so proud of you all for how well you're surviving today. Everything I see looks up for the real estate business. I know that my daughter just moved back from Washington, D.C., where she put her condo on the market and sold it for full price within 3 weeks. And she actually set a record for the price of a one-bedroom in her particular building. I talked to a realtor down in Branson today. She said she listed 2 properties last week and has them both under contract now. Once my daughter got back to Missouri, she put an offer in on a house, which was also full price, and got it bought on the second day it was on the market. So the real estate market churns on. I know you've had to learn to do things a little differently. And until we get through the situation we're in now with this coronavirus, things are going to be different. But I'm just so proud of each and every one of you. And like I say, you have my heart. The real estate business was my favorite. I was a real estate broker and an auctioneer for over 30 years. And real estate, out of the 2, is one of those that I miss. We have done COVID-3. A lot of people probably started getting their money put into their account direct deposit from the United States Treasury this week. The rollout of the payroll protection plan has been fabulous. A lot of small businesses are taking advantage of that, keeping thousands of employees on their payroll through these difficult times. So we're doing everything we can in Washington, D.C. We're trying to add another $250 billion to the program. We have had some hiccups along the way with some people that inadvertently were left out of the payroll protection program. So we're trying to work in this COVID-4 bill that'll be coming out later on, picking up some of those folks that were left at the sidelines. So again, just congratulations on your first virtual business conference. And like I say, we'll look forward to seeing you in the future. Congratulations.
And of course, we appreciate those welcome messages from those elected officials. Nobody can do a hey boy howdy like Billy Long, one of my former brokers. Shout out also to our federal political coordinators who work with our members of Congress all the time. The relationships that we have with those officials through Missouri Realtors are possible in no small part to the work of those federal political coordinators. So thank you for all you do as well. Now we get to hear from someone who really has her finger on the pulse in Washington, D.C. Joining me now is NAR Senior Vice President of Government Affairs, Shannon McGahn. We're excited to have Shannon in this role and for her strategic advice on public policy and issues impacting realtors across the country. Before joining the largest trade association in America, Shannon served as the staff director for the House Financial Services Committee, and prior to that as counselor to the United States Secretary of the Treasury. She also held communication roles for 3 members of House leadership during her nearly 20-year Capitol Hill career. And Shannon, it's nice to have you with us today. If you're out there.
I'm here.
There she is.
You can hear me?
I can. Shannon, you know, we haven't seen you. I think the last time you were with us maybe was our advocacy day back in October. Anything new? Anything changed since then? Anything going on?
Oh, yeah. How much time do you have? A couple hours for me to go through the Washington update here? But
well, you know, if you want to, apparently there's some breaking news going on in terms of economic stimulus, if you wanted to start there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, President Kester, and to all the Missouri Realtors. It was great to see your congressional delegation. You really do have great representation in DC. And I had the privilege of working with a number of those members of Congress on Capitol Hill, and you're very well represented. Also, would like to congratulate you for putting together these virtual set of meetings. NAR is planning our virtual legislative meetings that start next week. So I know it's not the easiest of tasks, but it is amazing what technology allows us to do in these very difficult times. So yes, your advocacy team in DC has been very busy. And I also want to throw a thank you to the national past presidents who may be on this call for Missouri, who had the vision and leadership to build up our advocacy programs, which are working at full force at a time when we need it most. So before I jump in with a lot of information that I'm going to run through very quickly, would love it if you all could text COVID-19, COVID 19 to 30644, and then you will immediately in your text thread have a link to all of the coronavirus material that NAR has put out. COVID-19 to 30644. If you don't feel like doing that and you want to go straight to the website, it's nar.realtor.com/coronavirus. So we have a frequently asked questions document that started at 3 pages and I think is at 20 pages now, and it seems to be doubling by the day. And we have a number of resources, including Right Tools Right Now. Would love it if you guys could make it there. So, you know, in DC, there is motion before you see progress and progress before success. And right now we've entered progress mode. So I'll start where we're at, and then I'll go to where we've been. So the United States Senate yesterday passed legislation through unanimous consent to replenish funding for several of the small business relief programs that was championed by NAR and available to our realtor members. The House is expected to take up that measure tomorrow. Under this Senate agreement, the Paycheck Protection Program, which is the largest program here in the guts of the CARES Act, will receive $310 billion in new cash. So this bill sets aside $60 billion of that funding exclusively for small and medium-sized banks in order to help get money out the door and get it out to new people. We also are seeing the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, the EIDL fund, will receive an additional $50 billion with another $10 billion on top of that for the advances. This is another very highly demanded program that ran out around the same time as PPP. So if you go to the SBA website to apply for it, you're going to see no applications taken. We're out of funds. As soon as this bill is signed into law, which will be by the end of this week, you'll have access to that funding again. The Senate bill also contains $25 billion for testing and another $75 billion for hospitals. So the bulk of this is the PPP program. That ran out of money in about 2 weeks. So according to the Treasury Department, this program processed 14 years of loans in 14 days. So there is understandably enormous demand and desire to continue the program, which is what we're seeing happen now. And please note that we use the word demand. Don't like saying that this program is popular because it's not something that everybody wants. It's something that you need because for safety reasons, when you're simply not allowed to conduct your business. Working is far more popular. And so we're hoping these programs are temporary and get us through this health crisis. They are two of the most extensive rescue programs in our nation's history. The CARES Act was a $2 trillion bill, one of the largest in our history. And so it's obviously going to be very complicated to get these programs up and running and to ensure that there aren't any problems in the implementation. However, we have an entire team run by Joe Ventrone, who handles our policy and regulatory affairs, and they're dealing with the agencies and with the White House on an hourly basis, troubleshooting any issues that are coming up with our members and with the programs. So we're hearing from brokers around the country who are able to keep employees on the payroll because of this help, and from self-employed members who have been able to keep businesses afloat because of the access that independent contractors, self-employed, and commission-based earners specifically have in the legislation to the PPP program. So we're also hearing about the problems and want to encourage you to let us know when you're having these difficulties. A number of them have been with the financial institutions that you may be going through, and we have a whole FAQ document on how to apply for these programs, what to do if you're stalling in any of them, and others at that nar.realtor/coronavirus. Additionally, just want to run through quickly what are the programs that have already been available to you. So there have been 3 different pieces of legislation that have been signed into law so far. The first was that nearly $8.5 billion for medical research. The second was the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which included the expanded FMLA, paid sick leave, and immediate need for testing and for medical services. The third being the CARES Act that we just discussed. So for the CARES Act, if you are in need of cash, you're set to receive direct payments of $1,200 per adult and $500 per child, which hopefully hit your bank account already if you had filed electronically. You also may have noticed that you didn't have to file your taxes last week. And not only did you not have to file, you didn't have to pay. So that you have until July 15th. And we were also successful in ensuring that those deadlines were moved for opportunity zones and for 1031 like-kind exchange as well. You have access to penalty-free withdrawals from your retirement account of up to $100,000. If your business has slowed or if you need to retain employees, including yourself and your own paycheck, you have access to that Paycheck Protection Program once it is up and running again at the end of this week. So if you have already applied or have any other concerns about that, please go to our website. You also have access to the Employee Retention Tax Credit. So businesses with fewer than 100 employees that do not take out the SBA loan can claim a refundable credit of up to $5,000 for each employee. And if you can't pay your mortgage, or if you know somebody else who is having trouble, you have forbearance options that can go up to 360 days. And if you unfortunately don't have any of these options available, there is one resort. I would say that this is the last resort, but it is an important resort, which is the access to the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. So this is a program that is available to independent contractors, even if your state program is not. It goes above and beyond what the states allow. So I would venture to guess that everyone can qualify for at least one of these programs because of their availability to self-employed, independent contractors, and small businesses. So we're going to continue the fight when we're looking at a potential phase 4. As we heard from the members of Congress, there's a number of policy issues that were not within the scope of the CARES Act or the extension of the CARES Act, including access to remote online notaries so that we can ensure that that these transactions and the consumers are being protected and then can continue now that we're living in this virtual age where it is a necessity to make these things happen through technology and not in person. And we're also fighting to continuing the fight to ensure that any new programs or any extension of the programs will include you as a beneficiary. So with that, I'm happy to turn it back over to President Kester, just ensure that you all are staying safe and healthy, and we will get through this. The Realtor family is stronger than I ever thought that I would know, and I'm so pleased to be able to represent you in DC.
It is amazing. Shannon, I can't thank you enough for being with us today and for all of the work that you and your team do for us on our behalf in Washington, DC. Thank you so much. I know that there's somebody else in DC watching, really tall, thin guy. I don't hold either one of those things against him. I like him anyway. Jack Greason, we know you're going to be with us tomorrow in our advocacy meetings. So we look forward to hearing from you and seeing you tomorrow. As an advocacy and political junkie, I loved hearing from members of Congress and all the updates from Shannon. Admittedly, because of that, I wasn't the most excited guy in the world about canceling our Capitol conference and having a virtual business conference. Of all years not to have a Capitol conference, just know that John Seabury has talked me off the ledge many, many times. But I've got to tell you, what helped too was the more and more that we talked about the details of what a virtual business conference would look like and how it could be, the more excited I got about it, honestly. And I know as a result of this being a virtual business conference, there are probably many, many people on here this afternoon, and hopefully will be joining us in meetings tomorrow that have never been to a Missouri Realtors Business Conference before. And I want to say something directly to you. You are very, very welcome. And we are ecstatic that you are here joining with us in this business conference. We hope you'll be here the whole time and that you'll like it enough that you'll come to the next business conference, whether it be virtual or in person. I know that a number of you also know that advocacy, especially for realtors, is a very big word. And I've always said that realtor advocacy is important and special because we don't believe that our relationship and our advocacy for our clients stops at the closing table. It's a lifelong commitment because we do this through our very nature as realtors. We don't just have licenses to participate in real estate. We answer to a higher calling. Though I mentioned it in a video, I want to again quote from the preamble of the Code of Ethics, because I think we're all very familiar with the first paragraph that starts with, under all is the land. It's wise utilization, and that this requires the creation of adequate housing, the building of functioning cities, the development of productive industries and farms, and the preservation of a healthful environment. That's great stuff. But yet it's the second paragraph that really speaks to me this year. It says, Such interests impose obligations beyond those of ordinary commerce. They impose grave social responsibility and a patriotic duty to which realtors should dedicate themselves and for which they should be diligent in preparing themselves. Realtors, therefore, are zealous to maintain and improve the standards of their calling and share with their fellow realtors a common responsibility for its integrity and honor. In other words, we don't just sell real estate. This isn't just a job. This isn't just a commercial interest for us. We do this because of our social responsibility and our patriotic duty and our zealousness to maintain and improve our standards and a responsibility for integrity and honor. Additionally, this month, above all months, we highlight our advocacy for our clients because it's Fair Housing Month. We must never, ever forget the realtor commitment to a fair and accessible real estate marketplace for everyone. And while I've already talked about advocacy and realtor advocacy efforts on behalf of our industry and our clients, Advocate also drives our continued determination to advocate on behalf of our members, all of our members. That's why at this business conference, on each output group and mission committee agenda, there is now an additional agenda item for the group to ask itself. And that question is, what groups of our members or the public are missing from any conversations we're having on any subject? We must make sure that we are continually challenging each other to be more inclusive in the actions we take as an association, to consider all viewpoints, and to make sure that voices that haven't been included are. I feel strongly, too, that this isn't just the job of one output group or one mission committee. It's the job of every output group and every mission committee. From this day forward, that too is who we are. I look forward to seeing you throughout the day tomorrow. I'm going to be moving around output groups and mission committees like you never thought possible. The agendas are on the schedule page, the April Business Conference website. There it is. There's so much stuff that will be accomplished tomorrow. Look at all those meetings. We are virtual, but our association goes on. Now, while Shannon covered a lot of information in her presentation this afternoon, tomorrow at the Emerging Issues Forum, you'll hear from speakers that get really specific in a lot of detail on those programs available from the SBA, tips and tricks on applying for those, and on unemployment insurance benefits that are available to independent contractors for the first time, thanks in large part to the realtor advocacy. One thing I was going to miss the most in a virtual business conference was let's just call it networking, but I like to call it fellowship and camaraderie and fun. That is so important to all of us and that has become such a part of our business conferences. So you will find the virtual hallway on the schedule as well. It will be open several times during the day for you to pop in and chat with other realtors from around the state. I got to do that already this morning with some members in the Women's Council, and it was great to see those wonderful, bright, shiny faces, everybody happy to see one another. The Lunch and Learn, by the way, tomorrow is sponsored by Columbia College. In case you didn't know this, right here in Missouri, Columbia College is the new home of what we used to know as Realtor University. The partnership they formed with NAR allows realtors to take advantage of special scholarships and NAR endorsed programs to advance their education, and it's right here in Missouri. Join that session and learn more about the educational opportunities available within the NAR Academy. Now, the final event tomorrow is the virtual happy hour. This was planned by the landing ambassadors. Thank you to them. And there, I hear, is a drink recipe available. So you can make yourself something called a Kestorito. I mean, I got to tell you, you know you've done something right when they name a drink after you. A Kestorito, by the way, since my new favorite drink is a mojito, a Kestorito is a Kester-sized mojito, which means, you know, we're from Missouri. We can make it big enough to drink out of a beer stein. So there's that. Or join with your favorite beverage, whatever it may be. Thank you, legal department, for that part. There will be a discussion about favorite apps that you're using to make life easier, and just, again, that general camaraderie and fun. So make sure you have the landing app on your device. Join the virtual happy hour via Zoom at 4:00 tomorrow afternoon. And by the way, speaking of that Women's Council meeting this morning, I want to thank Lynn Van Meter and Women's Council leadership, and for all of those members for your programming. That was great. The speaker did a great job. And again, it was a lot of fun seeing all of you. Lynn, you're doing an outstanding job. Finally, the moment that we've been waiting for as we bring the opening session to a close, I get to make a brief announcement. These have been trying times for all of us. And please keep in mind that our advocacy efforts on the state and federal and even the local level have been top-notch and all cylinders. And with the efforts of our CEO, John Seabury, even we've been in direct contact with the governor's office. Our advocacy staff is second to none. And many of you have connected with your local officials on the essential service. As you heard from Shannon, your team in Washington, D.C. has been fighting and been successful to ensure the ability of independent contractors to get unemployment benefits and SBA loans. But you know, realtor advocacy is only as strong as its support. This is the why we invest in RPAC. This is the how we remain essential. And this is our protection. So while we're going to hold our larger Robert W. Borgman, his name is Bob, RPAC auction event in September with more items and a live auction, right now we will be opening our online RPAC auction. You can find the link on the homepage of the conference website, MissouriRealtor.org/ABC, or text Mo Realtor Party to 76278. Mo Realtor Party to 76278. We've got to remain strong together now more than ever, and we appreciate all the support we can gather. So please go bid. The auction is live now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think this year isn't exactly what we signed up for, believe me, I am definitely right there with you. But it's the year we have. And while many might have thought that those three core values that we were so excited to bring forward into 2020, the strategic plan, engage, advocate, and lead, as a result of what has happened, would be diminished, or our progress on them maybe halted completely, we have proven, we together have proven just the opposite. All of us, all Missouri Realtors have proven that those three core values of the Realtor spirit have worked and shown forth like never before. As always, I love you. I'm honored to be the 2020 president and to be on the same team with you. And just like in 7th grade, have the perfect game. God bless you. May he continue to keep you safe. May he continue to bless the Realtor spirit, the great state of Missouri, and all of America. Enjoy your evening, and thank you. See you tomorrow.